Welcome, everybody, to the R&R CatCast, a fan-based podcast focusing on Montana State athletics. We're two dudes named Ryan from the state of Washington talking about our dear Montana State. We hope you enjoy. All right, welcome back, Bobcat fans. Thanks for joining us on another episode of the R&R CatCast. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Foley. He's your host, Ryan Thornburg. We are the Ryans of the R&R, the Montana State affiliate of the Big Sky Podcast Network. And we have a dang sponsor in Gear Up Sports. I've been getting all my Gear Up Sport gear lately. It has been awesome. Gear Up Sports is a youth sports platform focused on solving the uniform and apparel headache for the coaches. If you're a high school coach or like a middle school coach, you need some player packs, contact them at gearupwithus.com. Make sure to mention the R&R CatCast. Good job over there, Gear Up Sports with Mac and company. And I just appreciate the gear I got in the mail. The R&R shirt, and I got my hoodie in the mail. It's just cool stuff, man. The R&R Pro Shop, as we have.
Yeah, basically that's what it is. Yeah, big shout out to those guys for hooking you up and putting out the store for everyone. It's pretty awesome.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thanks for joining us on this episode. We just got done beating down Sac State. Stingers down. Stingers all the way down.
All the way.
I love all the way down. So we're going to recap that game, and then we have the huge, another top 10 matchup on the road. Go figure. Against Idaho over in the Kibbe Dome. I will be there. I'll talk about that a little bit. I'm stoked for that. I'm sure we're going to talk about the stats FCS. We'll get into Coach Vigen's presser. Well, there was a lot of information in that presser. You have a little fashion breakdown for you, Roger Fisher. And, Golden Coolies. You know, a lot of Golden Coolies. I love it. We have a ton of those lately. That's been a fun part of having this podcast, is just interacting with your questions and whatnot. So there it is. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so. I mean, yeah, just the news and whatnot, but other than that, no, we're good.
Okay. Well, first we start off with what's in our Golden Coolie.
What's in your Golden Coolie?
What's in your Golden Coolie is brought to you by Wilbur Ellis. Appreciate those guys for sponsoring this segment. Check them out, Fort Benton, Golden Triangle, for all your fertilizer and farming equipment needs. Foley, I don't have a beer tonight because my fridge is looking pretty miserable. I haven't had a chance to go grocery shopping in a while, so I just have a big, huge glass of wine.
Well, that might be a first, man. I don't know if you've ever had wine on the R&R.
I think I have, but maybe not. I know I've had a couple cocktails here and there, but I'm not sure I've ever had wine. I think I have, but anyway, I have no idea what it is. I'm not going to read you the label because the bottle's out there. I don't know what it is. We buy cheap red blends. So they're got a big old Yeti little cup of wine. But I don't know why we have these. They're not dishwasher safe.
Overpriced cup.
It's an annoying way to drink wine that I have to hand wash afterwards.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of hand washing dishes, I prefer hand washing dishes.
You are an insane person.
Okay. There you go. Pretty much. I have the Sierra Nevada Pale Ale in the bottle. It's awesome.
And why is that?
Beer.
Any reason?
I actually cracked one of these when I got it off a bet from a former teacher, or not a former teacher, a current teacher, on the Bengals and Seahawks. And so Bengals beat the Seahawks. I got a 6-pack of beer.
Good times.
There you go.
Celebration beer. I know why you normally drink that.
Celebration, man. Yeah. I did save one for Saturday night after we beat Sac State. So that was pretty cool to crack one of those open. I did wait until the final second as well. I didn't premature crack one late in the fourth quarter. But here we go. That's what I got, buddy.
All right. Sounds good. You're way better off than me with my big old... Yeah, cheers. Don't slosh the wine.
Slosh it right on your keyboard. That'd be awesome.
That podcast over.
Okay.
Into my little windscreen here, my little foam
Where did you
windscreen.
going?
Get it nice and wine soaked. That'd be great.
Ooh, no. All right. Let's go into the FCS stats rankings today. Montana State, again, number 2. I was thinking we were going to get some first place votes. We did not. South Dakota got all 56 of them. South Dakota State, that is. South Dakota is number 4. So there's something to confuse you if you're listening right there. Sac State dropped down from number 3 to number 6. Montana's number 7, not number 5. Bobby Houck, that is the coach's poll. That doesn't matter. Let's see here.
He's
Idaho
coach.
drops.
Of course, he's going to go for the coach's poll because he votes in it, probably.
I hope Bobby Houck continues to coach the Grizzlies for a long time. Okay, let's see. Idaho's number 9. They were number 10, so that's something. So this is another top 10 matchup. So they recovered from the Grizz, lost and got back into the top 10.
Recovered by not playing a football game, you mean?
Well, so did the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies were up number 9, and they rose 2 spots. Good for them, I suppose, right?
Sometimes the best win is not losing.
Is Montana proper? I can't say that word. Properly? There it is. Properly ranked, overly ranked, or underranked?
Properly ranked, borderline underranked, unfortunately.
You think so?
Yeah.
Wow. Man. No.
I know you're not believing it, man. They look different with Clifton McDowell. I hate to say it. If you look down this
He's
list,
not that good of a quarterback.
who are they losing to down that list? North Dakota State, maybe?
I don't know. I don't watch every FCS game, but they don't look great. They look okay. Like they're not world beaters. That's for sure.
Yeah, their defense is playing really well.
Yeah,
I just think
or
the
like
FCS
half
is
of football.
The FCS is kind of all over the place right now. Like outside the top, like 4 or 5, it just seems like it's just a cluster.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not buying Montana quite yet.
Okay.
And I don't think they have any games remaining that are going to make them feel like they are. See, they got Northern Colorado, Sac State coming up. Sac State could give it to them. Portland State, I don't know what to think about Portland State after them losing to Idaho State.
Yeah, the fully Portland State hype train went off a cliff.
Pretty much, man.
You were hyping them
But
up.
then I hopped right on the ISU Bengal train. So
you like the trains were like going opposite paths. You just jumped off of Portland State and just landed on Idaho State going the other direction. Like, so long, suckers.
Yeah, man. That is like an action movie move I just did right there with my power rankings and fandoms. Okay. Let's see. Anything else out of there? I don't think so. UC Davis got back into the top 25. They're number 25. So there's that. North Dakota State is
they're a bad football team.
Yeah. See, I think that again. I think UC Davis and Montana are pretty much the same, a little bit. I mean, difference for sure as far as defense and whatnot, but the overall aggregate of both those teams is pretty close to me. I don't see a big difference between Davis and Montana.
Fair enough.
All right.
We won't get to find it out.
Them. Eastern's getting votes. Eastern looks pretty fun. They're kind of a fun football team right now.
Yeah, well, I'd rather take winning than fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're fun. They're unpredictable. As usual, they got a quarterback who's running all over the place, throwing bombs all over the field.
He's a little guy.
As usual, they have a little guy throwing bombs all over the field. Like maybe he's more little than normal, but they never have a big guy back there.
No, that's true. Nope. All righty.
Weber State got 6 votes. That's ridiculous.
Okay. Weber State got 6 votes. I don't know how you vote for those guys. They're a pile. Straight steaming pile right now, man.
Yeah, I feel bad, man. Like Weber State might be the single biggest drop-off I've ever seen in the Big Sky. Going from like what they were last year, and I know they lost their coach, but holy cow, they just fell off a cliff.
Woo.
All right. Anyway, we need to keep this moving because we got a lot to talk about today.
It's always kind of fun roasting Weber, though.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna come back in basketball season. It's gonna be it's coming. So
I've always liked Weber, so I don't like to rag on them too much. They're always been one of my favorite, not Montana State teams in the Big Sky.
okay, outside of Montana, who's your favorite team to root against in the Big Sky?
Eastern.
Yeah, same.
That's easy.
Yeah.
Everyone else is just kind of like, yeah, you guys just go do your own thing, really. No one else has a big enough fan base to annoy you, I guess.
It's a good point.
That's a lot of it, is the fan interactions. Weber State has some decent sized fan base, but
Idaho's creeping up there, man. They are becoming kind of chippy. So yeah,
that's true.
That's
True.
All right. We'll talk about those guys here shortly. Let's get into the presser. And we know you are here for the
Fully
injury report from
watch.
Ryan. That too. Last week we talked about being here for the injury report, but I withhold my comment. Okay, yes, we'll start off with the Foley Fashion Watch. Coach Vegan was wearing a striped tie today, blue and gold, but it wasn't Montana State blue and gold. It was like more Michigan-esque blue and gold. And I think this was like his first tie he wore when we were introduced to him. I kind of had something in the back of my head about that. He had a tan suit and a white shirt. Not bad, but I just didn't think the gold matched Montana State's blue and gold. So I think he could probably do a little bit more effort right there. Maybe retire that tie, Coach Vegan, because it's a little bit more Michigan than Montana State.
You're knocking Coach for his gold not being quite the right gold? Is that what I'm...
If he's going to try to do it, it just didn't work for me.
Okay.
I grew up in a Buckeye household. My dad went to Ohio State, so I recognize this stuff.
Do Ohio State coaches all
Untrained eye. It's just blue and gold.
Matching colors in their suits?
Absolutely, they do. The only thing they wear is like Nike issued stuff. Those big programs. They don't wear anything. They don't buy anything. All their suits are Nike. Everything's Nike. So, yes, everything's dialed as far as color scheme goes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Any other fashion questions you want me to?
Nope. I want to get through this segment as fast as possible. I already regret delaying it another 20 seconds.
All right. Well, let's get into the injury stuff from the presser. Let's see.
Start off with some good
Tommy's
news.
back.
Give me some good news. Yeah.
That's Tommy's back. That was a quote from him. He praised John Johnson and Tommy for both. Hey, there's some news right there. Both being players of the week, Big Sky players of the week. So that deserves a little bit of applause. John Johnson had a 16-yard interception return for a touchdown, and Tommy had himself 2 touchdowns and I think about 200 yards. Let's see here. Malott was 1 yard shy of 100 through the air and 114 on the ground. So, yeah, pretty solid game. I didn't think that deserved a player of the week. I don't know.
No, yeah. It was a good performance, and Tommy won the game and did exactly what he needed to do, but those numbers are not player of the week winning usually. I think it's just because of the scope of the game more than anything.
Coach Vegan said we out-physicaled them. He praised Ryan Lonergan and Miles Jackson for stepping up into roles vacated by Snell and Lavelle Price. And then the obligatory injury report. Danny used extended period of time, elbow injury, not surgical. 3 weeks to 4 weeks kind of deal. His brother Taki piped up on Twitter saying it's 3 weeks, so he'll be back by the Grizz game, baby. And that's what I think he said pretty much. And Derek Snell re-aggravated a previous injury, and coach continued to say it's not a new injury. It was a previous injury. So kind of day-to-day on that. Lavelle Price is still day-to-day, was day-to-day last week. Taco's back. Let's go. Taco Dollar's back. You talked about him stabilizing the punt return game and being able to preserve his red shirt, actually, because he will have had 4 games left. And so both him and his brother will technically redshirt this year, which is pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Yeah, that's an interesting new rule.
Yep. JT Reed still out indefinitely. As quote unquote a tricky one. I don't think we're going to see JT Reed this year.
No,
it's a back injury. He played a big role for us last year, but it just doesn't sound like he's going to be back. Lane Sumner is going to be practicing more and more. Could see some time soon. My guess is not this week, but the week after. Elijah Elliott got hurt on the last play of the Cal Poly game. Not surgical. He's going to miss a couple weeks, he said. So that's on the injury front.
Last play of the game in a blowout win. That sucks.
Yeah, right? So.
Yeah, we'll talk about Danny Yu's injury later on for sure. But
it's a little bit like RJ Fitzgerald. Remember that?
Oh, the game we were at?
Yeah.
Where he came out in this thing? Yeah, that was Gold Rush. Yep.
I think that's probably it.
Could be. Yeah, I couldn't tell the way he was walking on the field, and his arms were completely still, and they were holding him like, man, did he break his arm? Like, that looked, didn't look good.
It's not surgical, man. That's good.
That's good news.
So
it's good news.
Yep. All right. That's the presser news. And we got into the players of the week.
Knocking it all out, man. Flying. All right. Anything else we want to talk about before we get into the game recap, I guess?
No, not that I think of. If something comes up, I'll let you know.
All right. Well, let's get into the stats. Montana State goes on the road against previous number 3 or 4, were they?
3
3
is what the FCS stats poll had.
Well, what does the coaches poll say, Foley? It's the only one that really counts. All right. Number 3.
Let's talk to Bobby Houck about that.
Number 3, Sac State. 42-30 on the road on a big ESPN2 primetime game at 7:30 p.m. over here in Washington. 8:30 p.m. kickoff in Montana. That's just brutal. I know you like it. I like it too, but that's just rough on everybody in a way. Bobcats come away with 26 first downs. Sac State right behind at 25. Cats were pretty good on third down, really good on third down. 7 of 10 and 1-on-1 on fourth down, 1-for-1 on fourth down. Sac State 5 for 12 on third down and 2 for 3 on third down. So Cats did a better job converting than the Hornets did this game. Pretty even total yards, 448 for the Cats, 434 for the Hornets. The Cats just 120 yards through the air, but that's all they needed because they had 328 yards on the ground. That's good for 300. Man, I gotta do something cool here. I can't keep making noises. It sounds real stupid. I get scared. I'll do it like, okay, it's gonna sound good, and then when it actually comes to doing it, I wimp out and then half-ass it, and it sounds real bad. 320 yards for the Cats on the ground. It was better than that one, I guess. 6.7 yards per carry, 49 attempts. But the Hornets, 200 yards exactly on the ground on 28 carries for 7.1 yards per carry. When's the last time a team had a higher yards per rush than the Bobcats? I would guess maybe South Dakota State.
All right, hold on, pause there for a moment, though, because they had 1 carry for 53 yards. And so if you take that out, the bumps are averaged down to 5.14.
Okay, I am the least... I hate taking out statistical anomalies. They happened. What, you can take away Julius Javis's long run? That's going to kill our average too. Like, you just...
I'm just telling you, Thorny, you don't need to yell at me.
I will. You. It's pointless discussion. They happened in the game. It doesn't matter.
Some people like to hear that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Some people like to hear that.
Okay. Hornets, 234 yards through the air on 26-42 passing for 5.6 yards per pass, but 2 interceptions. We'll get into that. Cats were 10 for 16 through the air for 7.5 yards per pass. So Cats usually above 7 per pass. We're pretty, when we do pass it as a team, we're efficient and we throw the ball down the field. 3 penalties for the Cats, 9 penalties for the Hornets for 65 yards. That's definitely a little bit of a tail of the tape, and we'll get into that. 2 turnovers, like I said, for the Hornets, and the Cats had 2 turnovers with the interception by Sean Chambers, and then the fumble on the kickoff return by Marquis Johnson. Time of possession in favor of the Cats, 32 minutes and 40 seconds to 27 minutes and 20 seconds for the Hornets. Stingers down.
We punted 1 time for 45 yards. They punted 2 times for 94 yards. We kicked off 7 times for 440 yards. They kicked off 5 times for 271. We were 4 for 5 in the red zone. think that was one of the few times we haven't come away from the red zone with points this year. Sticks missed a 33-yard field goal on that one. They were 4 for 4 in the red zone. Not good. Not good. Field goals, it officially comes down to 0 for 2 for us, but we all know we missed 3 field goals. One of them was a penalty that allowed Sticks another shot at it, but and they were 1 for 2. Let's see. Let's go into some personal stats. Malott was 9 for 14 for 99. In the air, 17 for 114 with 2 touchdowns on the ground, earning him Player of the Week. Chambers, I had to double check this in 2 spots. He was 1 for 2.
Yep.
With I thought he must have threw it more, but he did not.
Nope. He had 2 completions,
one
to us and 1 to them.
Good.
Pretty weird stat line.
10 for a touchdown to Ty McCulloch and an interception. There you go. Ill-advised throw. 10 for 60 on the ground. Man, he is so good. I love watching Sean Chambers. Julius Davis. I couldn't tell you how many times they said, man, he runs like a man possessed. Probably like 3-4 times in that game. 12 for 110. 1 touchdown, long of 49, which was, I don't know if it made ESPN's top place. It should have.
It did not.
Did it?
Nope.
Oh, man.
I stayed up to watch SportsCenter top 10. Wasn't even anywhere on there.
Oh, wow.
Wasn't even in the top plays in the ESPN college football final show either. Didn't make any of the plays. I'm like, come on.
That's bad. Jared Whitehead was 3 for 27 with a touchdown. We had quite a few. I didn't write them all down, but a couple running backs around that stat line. We spread the ball around really well with our running backs. And so none of their stats are just like eye-popping stats. But when you got like 4 guys going like four carries for 25, 30 yards, you're doing pretty stinking good. Marquis Johnson, 3 for 22. Ty McCulloch had 4 for 53 with a touchdown. That guy continues to impress me. Cleveland was 3 for 32. Pickering was 3 for 32. Askelson had 11 total tackles. Wow. 8 solo by himself. Rylan Ort had 6 total. He had 1 interception. John Johnson had 7 total. 1 interception. A pick 6 for 16 yards. Greavy had the only tackle for a loss with a sack against Caden Bennett, and Sticks Hall had 1 punt for 45 yards. He was 6 for 6 on his point afters. That looked good. But he missed a 33, a 50, and a 45-yard field goal. That was not good. We'll get into that. Sack. Caden Bennett had himself a nice day. 26 for 42. Oh, man, 42 passes against over 234 yards, a touchdown. But he did have 2 interceptions, so that was good for us. Devin Gordry. Am I saying that right? I can't read my own handwriting. Gandy. There is no R in there. Gandy. 5 for 59. 1 touchdown with the long of 29. And Elijah Tolliver, their backup running back, had an even 100 yards on 8 carries with 2 touchdowns. He was impressive.
No, he definitely came out of nowhere, and he's a physical, big running back. It's funny to sit here and watch, like I'm looking at the stats on ESPN, and just see you be off on several things because you handwrite everything. It's never 100%.
I get my stats from Montana State's website, so I get the game stats. I get the game stats from you, or excuse me, ESPN. But I click into Montana MSU Bobcats, and that's where I get my individual stats.
Okay. Well, I'm surprised that I guess ESPN is that much different on a weekly basis. I'm pretty sure it's your handwriting. By the way, if you take out Julius Davis's 49-yard run, then we have 11. He has 11 carries for 61 yards. No, it's so impressive if we're using that. Take away the longest run.
Well, I think maybe where I'm probably just reporting net yards. I mean, not net yards gained, not net is what I'm doing. So there's like Tommy Malott did have some like a negative play there that I didn't count him for. Is that what you're seeing?
I don't know. I'm just, ESPN doesn't line up with what you're saying. That's all. It doesn't matter. It's close enough. It's a couple yards here and there. Well, that paints the picture, man. That was a competitive game. Sac State got their yards, and they had some guys step up and make some plays against the Cat defense. And I mean, that's really what I want to focus on. A lot of this conversation is our defense against Sac State's offense. But there's a lot to talk about this game. So where do you want to start?
I want to start with the defense, and my take is the way to attack our defense is through small passes. And here's my question to you. Do you think Montana State is allowing or conceding those small passes with the thought that, hey, we're going to make you go the distance because we're going to bank on our defense making a play?
I hadn't really thought that we were kind of a bend but don't break style defense. But, if you look back at Cal Poly and Sac State, I guess I could concede that maybe is a little bit what we're doing. We're not getting beat deep on anything. We came close. Sac State just overthrew a streaking wide receiver. But other than that, we're really limiting the big play. There were some definite chunk plays in this game, mainly the Elijah Tolliver 53-yard touchdown run. But other than that, you go down the list, there's a 17-yard reception, 17, 16, 14. Those are the longs on the rushing side, I'm sorry. And then the receiving side, the long was 24, and then 11, 18, 13. I mean, there wasn't a lot of 20-plus yard plays. There's a lot of 10-yard plus plays, which isn't ideal, and I don't think that's what the Cats are going for. But yeah, I think they were keeping things in front of them.
I think Sac State did a good job at staying ahead of the game, or staying on time, as coaches like to say that. They were getting short second yards, or short second downs, third downs, where it was very manageable. Where they had
ahead of the sticks, as they call it.
Yeah, where they had trouble was that those 9 penalties you talked about, 65 yards. They would get a motion procedure or something, and then we get them in, first and 15. But that wasn't anything we did.
No, we got bailed out on that 2-minute motion penalty. That was just a nice touchdown pass, like a 50-yard touchdown pass. Got bailed out on that one.
You might be surprised to know that Montana State is number 1 against the pass in the conference, allowing 173.8 yards a game. Does that surprise you?
No, I guess not. We haven't really played any real prolific passing teams.
Okay. I mean, we faced 2 teams that passed it for over 40 times the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, they're little dink and dunk passes, like you said. 234 yards on 42 attempts and 26 completions is not stellar.
I know. So that's pretty good for Montana State. My question goes back to you is, are we conceding the short slant?
I mean, against certain teams, I think we are. I also think teams are really much game planning on against this because they want to get the ball out of the quarterback's hands quickly. Yeah.
This is 2 games in a row where basically our pass rush has been non-existent because they're just getting it out fast. Yeah. But that was, I think the first half of this game really kind of frustrated me as a fan because you're seeing those slants just be completed, and you're like, come on, adjust somehow.
Well, yeah, when you got a guy like Bennett who is extremely accurate within 20 yards, that's all he did, man. He just picked us apart with those little passes, and they had some guys who could, they weren't breaking off any real big plays, but they broke a few tackles. They'd be a 7-yard completion, and they'd break a couple tackles and get 12 yards and a first down out of it. That happened several times. That guy that would really kind of stood out to me was that Anderson Grover guy. That guy kind of killed us a little bit on a lot of those plays. 5 receptions for 49 yards. They're number 25, the white guy. He was he was killing us, man. He's tough. He's a tough runner out there.
The white guy.
It usually narrows it down wide receivers. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. A part of it too, I think, was trying to keep Bennett from scrambling too much. Too, I think. So I don't.
Do you think Montana's? Hold on, I don't want to go there right yet. Do you think Montana State cares that they're giving up these slants?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I can't imagine they're happy about it.
I don't think they do.
I can't imagine they're happy about all those short, easy completions.
I'm sure they're not happy about it, but I think they're let's keep everything in front of us. They always say that. We want to keep everything in front of us. We don't want to get beat deep. I'm kind of convincing myself on this narrative that Montana State's saying, okay, we're going to give you that, but eventually you're going to throw a pick, just like you did. I mean, they threw a pick on a slant. Miles Jackson.
It was a great play.
You know, he had an interview today from 406 Montana Sports. We watched it. He was like, yeah, coach told me. It's like, hey, we're getting beat on these slants. Why don't you just hold your disguise for a bit and then react to it, and then popped it up in the air and went right to Ryan Lenore. So
that could be kind of the adjustment, right?
Yeah. So are we baiting them essentially with these slants?
I mean, maybe. What was it? John Johnson who said he baited the throw from Bennett on the pick six.
Yeah.
I don't really know how. I guess he was kind of camped further to the sideline, like than you would expect. He was kind of standing in a weird spot. So I don't know. Maybe where he was standing, kind of the quarterback just looked over there and thought that was his wide receiver. Like, it was a little confusing, but I don't know. I'm not sure I buy into the fact that the secondary is like biding their time to make an aggressive play later on. That's strategy I'm not sure I've heard. I don't know.
I just think Montana State's betting on their defense to step up over time. They're like, okay, we're going to give you these little nickel and dime little passes, but over time, our guys are better than your guys, and we're going to make a play.
Maybe. It almost backfired on this game, though, because Sac State was killing us in every which way. It's like every time they got the ball, like a handoff, they got like 8 yards of carry, and it was close, 7.1 yards of carry. Like every time they got the handed the ball off, he ran through the line easy. He was 5 yards downfield before he made contact, and a lot of times they'd have a lineman out there to take out a linebacker.
Yeah,
it reminded me of like when we played the Grizz, when he just like the running backs are just busting through these holes and there's nobody even there for like 6 yards. That's what it looked like. And that was the most concerning part of me to this game, is how porous the run defense was.
I feel like that was the first time we've seen it like that this year.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a credit to Montana State or Sac State's offensive line, or is that just the defensive scheme we were running that game? Or was it the fact that Danny Yu was not in the game?
I think a big part of it was Danny Yu was out. He's the guy who gets lined up. He's kind of the fiery guy back there, the captain, gets everyone kind of amped up and juiced up. Part of it could be some injuries at nickel. I know on their big touchdown run is when Askelson actually came out with an injury, and Cole Bullock came in. And I thought Drew Polidor didn't have a great game either. And I know part of that is this huge club on his hand that makes it hard to tackle. But he didn't seem to be his normal self in terms of blowing plays up. Down on that trick play kind of thing they scored their first touchdown on, Polidor came streaking in and just blew right past it and just got completely taken out of the play. I don't know. It just seems like guys are out of place. And I think a lot of that was Sac State's tempo. And we just didn't seem prepared for that. Like on that exact same play I was talking about, their touchdown on that little trick play, we weren't even like lined up. Like we had two defensive linemen trying to figure out, the nose tackles were trying to figure out what side to be on, and they were switching spots when it was snapped. So they were completely standing up. It just, I don't know. I felt like in the first half in particular was a lot of that for the Cats.
Yeah, Zach was going at 1.5 speed. We were going at 1. We were having trouble adjusting to that. The thing is, though, Montana State makes adjustments. We don't panic.
No.
When in the fourth quarter, when it was time to go, we had the clamps, man, until the very last, like that last drive. I mean, golly, 3rd and 17, 4th and 14, and give those up. Come on. Drives you and me nuts. But
it drives everyone nuts, and I know the game was more or less over at that point, but that was still the entire starting defense in there. That was, they didn't look like they were playing prevent defense necessarily. They just were not playing good defense.
What would you grade the defense on this game then? Just give me a score.
I guess C+. A B-. I'll do a B- because of the turnovers.
All right. What would you like to see them doing differently going forward?
I mean, I don't know X's and O's, man. I know you can't give up 7.1 yards per carry. Can't give up 200 yards on the ground.
Yeah, that was concerning. I thought we should have pressured Bennett more. We didn't. We didn't send as many blitzes as
there was hardly any blitzes.
Yeah, and that was weird to me because that's where we've been getting a lot of production.
I think you might be right in that regard, trying not to get beat deep. So we needed to drop 6 or 7 guys. Keep everything in front of you.
That's interesting because then now we're going to go face Giovanni McCoy, and the tail of the tape on him is like he's a stud, like absolutely stud quarterback, like better than Bennett, but probably like Bennett, but better, right?
Right.
Montana just sent the house every time. Like they blitzed every down. Montana State's not going to do that. They're going to play some sort of like zone coverage or cloud coverage on this, or maybe man, I don't know what they're going to do. Like I've tried to stop predicting what Montana State's going to do because every time I'm wrong. But so do we send more pressure against Giovanni? I don't know, man. It's tough.
I imagine it's going to look pretty similar to what we just saw.
Yeah. Imagine Idaho's going to try to dissect us with these little passes, little screenplays, draws. That we got caught a little bit on the drop play as well in this game. We didn't have anybody spying Bennett. That was kind of something I was like, man, maybe we should have. Not sure. So it seemed like Montana State was kind of worried about him beating us through the air.
Well, I mean, he only had 6 carries for 22 yards, and one of them was a 17-yard run. So other than that, I mean, and there was no sacks to really. There was 1 sack at the end, so that's pretty much the stats. That's the tail of the tape there. So okay. I think we just really wanted to keep his run game in check and wanted to make him beat us through the air. I watched plenty of Sac State highlights and stuff before this, and he does QB power stuff, man. They run him a fair amount. And we really, the most part, contained that, but they just decided, okay, we'll just use the running backs instead. I mean, when you go against an offense that has a lot of good players, sometimes you just try and shut down one single aspect of it. Not like, okay, we're going to stop the run game. I'm talking, we're going to stop one specific player's run game. It's kind of feel like that's almost what the game plan was catered toward. Maybe I'm crazy.
You sound a little bit salty about it, like you're a little bit disappointed.
Well, I mean, the defense, I have a lot of concerns about the defense from this game, but we'll see if it was just a one-off. Yeah. But I posted on Bobcat Nation that my biggest concern heading into this, if you ask me, like, what's the biggest concern on the team, would be special teams. After this performance, I mean, special teams is still a huge concern, but the defense is, I don't know. It just reminded me too much of the early season last year where we had a hard time tackling, and there was just guys, we couldn't set the edge, and there was just running backs running loose all over the place. It just reminded me a little bit too much of that, so I got a little bit of PTSD maybe.
Yeah, it's opening up an old wound in you.
So, right. I mean, it's the same defensive coordinator, so like I don't want to revert back to that. We had been playing such good defense this year, and all of a sudden Cal Poly moved the ball against us, didn't score much, but they moved the ball, and then Sac State really moved the ball and scored. Yeah. This is more than anyone scored on us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 30 points, the most anyone scored against us all year.
Yeah.
And it could have been more.
Always could be more, Thorny, but it wasn't.
It wasn't. Like I said, we got lucky on a procedural penalty when we got beat bad on a deep touchdown pass.
He almost had that pick, though.
He did.
Like it went right through,
but he whiffed it. He whiffed it and got scored on.
Hey, man, let's talk the offense real quick because that'll make you feel a little bit better. What do you think about mixing the chilies in this game, man?
Oh, we have some Golden Coolie questions about that. I thought it was a weird mix, but it works.
Yeah, right?
It worked, so...
No, it doesn't.
We scored 42 points and had 450 yards of offense.
We could have scored 60 if we would have done it better.
Oh, jeez.
Criminy, Thorny. Like, you don't bring in Tommy Malott for the first 2 plays of a drive or a series, and then Sean Chambers for 3rd and 4th down. It just doesn't work, man.
I don't love how they're doing it, but the results are fine. It just seems like, yeah, you want one guy to go a little bit further. It just seems like one guy starts cooking, and like right when he does okay, they yank him out and then put in the other guy.
So I did the instant reaction show solo, and I made this analogy. Sean Chambers is like an old engine, and he needs to get warm. You just got to let him cook a little bit. You got to let him warm up. They don't. Get him in there for like 2-3 plays, and then they yank him. It's like he starts to feel it, and he's like, nope, back on the sideline.
He doesn't need to warm up if you're not going to let him pass, though. And they only let him throw 2 passes today. Saturday. Jeez, it's Monday. So
yeah, I don't know.
If you're going on that aspect, I don't think he needs to be in as much of a rhythm. If all he's doing is empty set Sean Chambers up the middle, you don't need to warm up for that.
He's
not a running back.
Now you make me feel the feels on the offense again. That's why I came away from this game feeling like weird. Like, I'm super happy Montana State beat Sac State 42-30. I came out of this game going, man, I don't know how I feel about this. This was like a interesting game. I thought we left a lot on the bone.
It's crazy to sit here and say that we rushed for 328 yards, scored 42 points, and you're feeling not great about the offense, because I feel fine about the offense. I might have disagreements about how it should be done, and maybe we could have scored another touchdown or 2, but they couldn't stop us, man. We ate up the clock, and we ran for 6.7 yards per carry. That's 320 yards. I mean, you can't complain.
I guess when it comes down to it, I just have to accept the fact inside Ryan Foley, I'll just state it. I want Sean Chambers to be the starting quarterback. I don't want a dual quarterback system. I just want Chambers to take the show and go with it. Because when he did, in the last 2 years, when we've seen the Chambers show, it's been really good.
I mean, we saw today mostly, I keep saying today, it's Monday. We saw a healthy dose of Tommy taking most of the snaps, and that looked pretty good too. Do we mostly go with one guy? Do we need to kind of abandon the 2 QB thing?
Yeah, so Tommy did mostly look good, but there's some times where he would hold it to run and he's making the wrong choices again. He's doing Tommy ball. I'm like, come on, give it.
Yeah, if it
like
comes,
how many times did he eat it in a RPO where he was just getting smothered in the back? Probably 3 times. I'm thinking off the top of my head. That's a lot.
It does seem like when we get into these big time games against bigger opponents, the playbook shrinks and we just end up like, okay, well, Tommy Ball's going to save us. It seems to happen a lot. And it would have worked maybe against South Dakota State, but then he gets hurt. And that's what happens in Tommy Ball. Tommy gets hurt. 17 carries. He's just going to get hurt. I don't like to think that. I hate it. I hate that. That's my first thought when I see the stat line of 17 carries. You can't. I don't want him to get hurt, but he's going to.
Give it to Davis. They couldn't tackle him. They couldn't tackle him in the first quarter. He had a couple shoestring tackles that he would have gone for even more. He only had 12 carries. He had 110 yards. That guy runs so tough.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we giving him the ball? And why are we doing these trick plays? First play of the game last two games.
See, I like those. I have zero problem with those.
Netted a minus. I don't know. There's a stat for you. Go look it up. It's probably like minus 40 yards almost on both those plays.
Well, it's a good luck charm as far as I'm concerned because we won both games.
Gosh, get out of here with that. That's crap. Good luck charm. That's the crappiest good luck charm I've ever heard of.
Hey, there was one guy who read that play well. If he didn't read that play, it's an easy touchdown.
No, it's not. Somebody else would have been there. I think you're wrong.
It's a huge play.
Okay. All right.
And the first one was a weird fumble exchange. I get it. Yeah. I don't mind a trick play to start off a game, man. I don't mind it.
All right. All right, I gotta calm down. Hey, we gotta talk a little bit about Sticks Hall.
I posted on Twitter, I don't think I told you this, pretty much word for word, as like, I don't really like talking negative about a player, but we need to find something else at kicker.
Coach Fegan.
It's not working, man.
Thing. Well, he didn't say exactly the same thing. What did I write down?
I really don't like dogging on guys, but man, he's becoming a liability, a field goal kicker, a place kicker.
Coach Fegan says our production has to improve.
That's about as damning as
Yeah.
Vegan ever gets.
Yeah. I think he's money on the kickoffs and punts. He's done some phenomenal punts. He doesn't have it when it comes to the games in the place kicking right now. Could change, but it's almost akin to like a shortstop having the yips or something.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel like he has a confidence. So here's some stats for you. Field goal is 6 for 10 on the year. We're 1 for 4 between 30 and 39 yards. That's not good. And I mean, we're not close on some of those.
When he misses, he does it in style.
Yeah. It's very concerning. And that's a big thing because we know it's going to come down to a kick here or there. And we're going to be like, seriously? That's why we lost? Why didn't we fix this? I think one of our friends said, I want Coach Vegan to look at me. I want someone to have trust in me. Like Coach Vegan has trust in Hall. I was like, yeah, maybe, man.
I mean, I'm sure he's showing out in practice, man. Like it's
that's what Vegan said. He's like, that's not what we're seeing in practice. Like we send a house on him in practice, you need connects. In the game, we're seeing something different.
I mean, that's just mental. It's clearly not a physical problem. So I mean, it's possible he can turn around. But
he missed 2 at Weber, 2 here.
Oh yeah, somebody maybe it was Tom Stuber. Like he's like 0-4 on the road or 1-4 on the road. So it's interesting stat because he missed one at South Dakota State, right?
Yeah.
This is from
no, we didn't. I don't think we attempted a field goal at South Dakota State.
Shay, our friend Shay, asks us buy or sell. Field goal kick costs us. Field goal kick costs us a win to another trip to Frisco. Basically, a field goal will cost us a trip to Frisco in one way or another.
Oh, I'm not going to buy that. That would be like just putting bad juju out there. No way. Stay away from that.
That's no fun. You can't think by
I see
yourself.
where you're coming from, Shay. That would be terrible. By the way, Thorny and I booked our hotel room to Frisco.
Oh, bad juju. Now you put that on the air? You won't answer that question, but you tell everyone we booked a hotel to Frisco?
It's refundable.
That's way worse juju. That is the most bad juju you could say right now.
No, it's buying your ticket to Frisco is the worst.
Yeah, we would have bought one, but they're already all sold out, and their prices are crazy again.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't know. I don't really want to answer that question either. It's possible. I mean, it doesn't have to be what you think. Like if he misses a kick against Idaho and costs us the 3 seed, and then or the 2 seed, and then we have to go on the road and lose in the semifinals, would you pin that all back on a missed field goal? I don't know. That's a big thing, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a game deciding problem. I don't think the Cats get into close games that come down to field goals. As weird as that sounds. We either lose big or win big.
It's this is like the best Montana State has ever been in my fandom. Like we are really good team. And let's just acknowledge that, Ryan, because like there was certain handful of things we just kind of griped about. I guess like let's say this. If you were just tuning into the last 20 minutes of the podcast, you probably thought we would have lost because we were sitting here bitching about it, moaning about it. Montana State's a really good football team. We just beat the number 3 team in the nation on the road. And it didn't even have to be that close. It wasn't. Like they scored late. I mean, it could have been an 18-point win for us.
I need to say a few things here. Any critique we have, or at least I have at this point, is comparing things to the bar of getting back to Frisco.
Yeah.
And I am ecstatic that we won this game. So I want to say that performance piece that I'm critiquing is not the same as like, hey, we won this game. I would have been happy if we won this game 3-0, 10-8. This is a big win. This is an important win that we needed to keep that top 2 seed alive. And I didn't care how it was done. It's a road win. Road wins in the Big Sky are hard. We know that. We've been following the team for a long time. We've been following the Big Sky for a long time. Road wins are hard. But you start to analyze things from like, I want us to go back to Frisco. I want to go back to Frisco. I want to go back to the national championship. And that's where you start to like put the lens on it. Like, is the defense that we saw tonight good enough to win a national championship? I don't think it is. That doesn't mean we can't get there, but you can't play like this. Can't play like this against like a Dakota school, South Dakota State, even North Dakota State. Like this, can't get ran over like that.
No, but we don't always have to be perfect either. Like,
no,
Montana State's not going to be perfect to these road games. We're going to have our bumps and bruises. But what Vegan has done in the last couple of years is he's proven that he puts a better product at the end of the season than in the middle of the season.
Yep. And in Vegan, we trust at this point for sure. I mean, South Dakota State beat Southern Illinois 17-10.
Yeah.
So that was a closer game than this game, at least in terms of points. I didn't really watch any of that game, so I don't know how dominant that 17-10 was or what was not. But you know, these things happen. You go back and look at North Dakota State's championship runs. They always had one game in the regular season where they squeaked by Western Illinois, who's like 5-6. Like, it's hard to win all the games, man. It's hard.
It is, especially when you're ranked like we are. We're gonna get people's best shot. And Sac had a good atmosphere. They had like 16, 17,000 people there. That's good atmosphere, man.
Yeah, I mean the camera crew and the mics weren't set up in a very good spot. You heard the cheerleaders first and foremost, but it showed out, man. It's a big time game too. Like how many years ago would you have said like the Cats are on ESPN2? Would you just be worried that we're just gonna fade from the moment?
Like all of them,
like pretty much, yeah. We had those the Rob Ash playoff runs on ESPN2 against Sam Houston State. We just got pummeled every time. So it's pretty, for number one, it's pretty awesome that the Big Sky has ESPN linear games in the regular season. That's pretty sweet. But the crazy thing to me in this game, and I want to end it here for me, at no point during this game did I feel like we were going to lose. Even when Sac came out and scored that touchdown right off the bat, it's like, I wasn't worried.
Yeah.
And then it just became more clear as the game went on. They couldn't stop our run game. So it didn't even really matter if the defense couldn't get the stops we needed to, because I just felt like the run game was like, all right, we'll just answer every single time. And Sac State kept punching back. I give them a lot of credit, but Montana State had an answer every single time.
Yeah.
And then a huge
Sac State came out, man. That was their big game.
I was impressed.
ESPN at home.
I was impressed. They have some ballers, man. They have some dudes. They looked big. Their offensive line. Did you watch? I rewatched it. Sebastian Valdez got swallowed up every single play. He looked small. Seabass looked small against those guys, man. They were big. Those were big guys.
Yeah. No, they're good. They've been good for a long time. Mm-hmm. We know that, dude.
Yeah, they're a good team, and I think I said on the pod last week, I'm not dismissive as they are, as a lot of other people are on Bobcat Nation leading into the game. But they're a good squad, and I expect them to, they have a real shot at getting a seed themselves if they go undefeated the rest of the way out.
A little jealous that they got ESPN back-to-back years.
Yeah,
we didn't get
it keeps ending up in Sac for some reason. With Troy Taylor greasing the wheel or something. I know he's not there now, but he would have greased it last year for this year. I don't know. Kudos to Sac, but bigger kudos to the Bobcats going on the road, taking care of business. The Bobcat contingent sounded good on TV. Cheers, Bobcat Nation.
Final thought for me is a couple of guys had texted me on this, and kind of common thread with their conversations has been, it was good for Montana State to get tested. It was good to take it on the chin. Early on, that 0-7 deficit we overcame. Like you said, I didn't feel that we couldn't overcome that. It wasn't always pretty, but as Coach Vegan says, we're a complete team, and it showed tonight. We faced adversity. We had some ups and downs, but the depth showed up, and the guys executed. We got it done.
Damn right. Road win, baby. Go Cats.
Go Cats. Now on to Idaho. Down to the Palouse.
Damn it, man.
This game has been looming on my mind for over a year. Once this schedule came out, I almost cried. I really did. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a brutal schedule.
Right.
Absolutely brutal schedule. And it is. This is going to be our third top 10 team on the road. Second road test of the week. These guys are just coming off a beating from the Grizz. And not a huge beating either. Man, we should have won that game. Dang it. We lost that opportunity. They go into the bye week. They had some injuries. I don't know their health on this, but sold out in the Kibbe Dome. It's going to be wild, dude. I'm taking my family. What do you think is going to happen?
I think technically
Prediction City. We don't do any predictions here. So let's steer the ship away from that waters right there.
But you said what's going to happen, not like who's going to win.
Yeah. All right.
I guess there's slight differences there. Hey, if you count the Weber State number 10 at the time, this would be our fourth top 10 matchup on the road so far. South Dakota State,
really?
Weber State, Sac State, Idaho.
Yeah.
Don't forget South Dakota State. Don't forget that one. Seems like forever ago. That's how the seasons usually go. Oh, man, I watched some film today. I mean, we watched most of the Grizz-Idaho game. It coincided with the Cat game, so we didn't catch all of it. I don't know what to think about Idaho. They seem a little bit more beatable than I thought they were a few weeks ago because of what the Grizz did, but I'm not sure we can really replicate what the Grizz did on defense. So let's talk a little bit about let's recap Idaho a little bit. I want to kind of paint a picture of what Idaho has done this season before we get too far into anything. Idaho is, let's see, I'm slowly pulling up ESPN trying to talk my way through it, but the internet's not helping me out. All right, they're 5-2. Road win at Lamar, 42-17. I'm looking at this now. That's pretty funny. Lamar was the very last team receiving votes in the FCS stats poll from today. They received 2 votes in the poll. I have no idea how Lamar is, but that's just kind of funny. They beat Nevada 33-6, obviously on the road. And then the third road game in a row. They started their season with 3 straight road games at Cal, and they were leading that game 17-0 before losing 31-17. Then they come back home and beat Sac State 36-27. That game is a lot closer than that score indicated because Sac State was down by 1 point with 4 seconds left, and they tried some sort of all crazy Music City miracle and then fumbled it, and Idaho scooped and scored with 0 seconds left on the clock. So that last touchdown was pretty much meaningless. Very close game. I watched highlights of that today. There's a lot to take away from that game because common opponents. We just played Sac State. Then they went on the road to Eastern Washington, pulled out a victory there, 44-36. Of note, Eastern Washington starting quarterback Kiko Vesperis. Is that how you say his name?
You ask me this every week. Just say it with confidence and move on.
Every week I ask you about East Washington's quarterback. I've asked you that every single podcast. Wow, I don't remember.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure this is maybe the second time I've asked how you say his name. Anyway.
Every damn week.
All right. Well, anyway, they went on the road and won with Eastern Washington starting quarterback out, but 44-36, pretty close game. Then they come home and, I guess on the road, 42-14 against Cal Poly, which a lot of people thought that was kind of a what is that saying? Canary in the coal mine for Idaho. I've seen some people reference that because it was a closer game than I think they would have liked. But then they went back home, and that was last week. The Grizz took it to them, 23-21. The Grizz are up like 20-0 at that one point, or was it 17-0?
Did the Grizz really take it to them, 23-21?
Yeah, I mean, they got a big lead and they held on. It's good enough. I'm sorry if my phrasing
40 yards of offense second half of the game.
Yeah,
is that taking it to them?
I don't know. They took it to them in terms of like throwing all the punches and coming out. If you want to look at it that way, doesn't matter. They won the game 23-21. Big win for the Grizz. They needed that win real bad. Idaho now needs this win real bad against the Cats because that was a loss that kind of derailed their plans for the year. It's not over for the Vandals, obviously. They're 5-2. They can win out. If you look at the rest of their schedule, they have Northern Colorado, Weber State, and Idaho State. All of a sudden, Idaho State's the toughest game left on that schedule, I would guess. That's crazy. But Idaho, once they get past this, I think they should be able to win 3 in a row. But, man, they've had 2 weeks to stew about their loss to the Grizz, 2 weeks to game plan for the Cats. The Cats are coming off a game where we had some key injuries, some guys banged up, hard-fought game on the road. and now we're going on the road again. There's a lot stacked against the Cats, I think, going into Moscow on Saturday.
Yeah, no doubt. There is a lot stacked against the Cats, but one thing that I like that the Cats in this is a run game. I don't think they're not going to be able to stop a run game. So this is going to be a time of possession battle. University of Idaho, they like to run it all the way down. So they're going to take the game clock all the way down. They're not going to want Montana State to have any possessions on this. And watch out. Jason Eck is a gambler. That guy is a firecracker of a coach. And then went against him during the Montana game. And it could go against us. It did, remember back when he was coaching for South Dakota State. And you always talk about it. Who's that kicker that ran for
that was a Vinatieri of some sort.
Yep, there you go.
One of them Vinatieri's.
And Jason Eck is out there like fist pumping. He's like, yeah. He just got fired from Montana State the year before. So, he had a little bit of juice in him about that. And good for him. I think Jason Eck lost that game for Idaho against Montana.
A little too aggressive.
Yeah.
Take the points, man.
Yeah. And I see what you're saying about Montana, like taking it to them. It's easy to say that when they play that style of defense as they play, but their offense didn't have any bite. It connected on a couple passes early on, got a couple momentum plays. Montana State's more steady, man. Like, I'm just saying it. Montana State is more steady. They are a more complete team than pretty much any team Idaho has faced this year. So, is Idaho going to get some points? Yeah, I do think so. Are they going to play small ball against us and run the clock down and, try to use Anthony Woods, their freshman running back who's really good, averaging over 6 yards per carry? Yeah, no doubt. Are they going to sling it to like their slot receiver, Therese? What's his last name? Trainer? And are they going to huck it up to Hayden Hatton or who's that guy? Jeremiah Woods? What am I seeing that right, Thorny? Not Jeremiah.
There's Jermaine Jackson.
Jermaine Jackson, that's what I'm talking about.
That's Therese Trainer, Teron Ivy Jr., Jermaine Jackson, Hayden Hatton kind of round out their receiving core.
Yeah, they probably have the best receivers in the Big Sky. Not probably. They do have the best receivers in the Big Sky. I'm not sure Montana State's going to send a house like Idaho did. Or, excuse me, Montana did. And I think that was really kind of like their key to this game. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting game.
Well,
I think Montana State, my last parting thought is if Montana State goes 3-and-out on like 3 of their possessions, it's going to be a tough game.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think the Cats have to get something going early. I kind of put in my notes that the Cats need to throw the first punch in this game, I think. Idaho's going to be fired up. They're going to have the stadium rocking. They're going to be, like I said, fresh off 2 weeks rest, stewing about the loss to the Grizz. They're going to be fired up, man. We got to come out and take some of the wind out of those sails real quick. But let's compare some stats that, it's meaningless. I understand football is not it's not apples to apples every time you play a game, different game plans, even if it's the same common opponent. But, Sac State was only able to run for 69 yards on 29 attempts against Idaho for 2.4 yards per carry. And what did I think they ran 28 times against the Cats, so roughly the same times, except 200 yards. So Idaho does have a pretty good run defense. They completely shut down Sac State. But Sac State had like a career day against the Cats. Like I looked at some of their rushing performances from Sac State. Nothing like what they did against the Cats. But, Idaho has some really good running backs. So could Idaho run for 200 yards against the Cats? I don't think it's out of the question at this point. I hate to say that. I don't think they will. But they got 2 really good running backs, man. I like Woods. I like Anthony Woods a lot. I think he's a really good running back. He runs a lot bigger than he is. He's not a real big guy, but he runs really hard and really fast. He had 24 carries for 117 yards and a touchdown against Sac, but only along of 19. So Sac did a good job of kind of balling them up. But then Nick Romano is kind of their bigger back. I like the way he runs too. Just kind of a bigger north-south runner. And then, of course, McCoy can beat you at any time with his legs. He had 11 carries against Sac when they played. So, I mean, they have guys who can run the ball. McCoy, not going to look to run all the time, but he can. He's like Bennett a lot, I think. I think that's a good comparison, like you said. Just a little bit faster, a little bit more elusive. And I think he has better playmaking ability. He reminds me kind of it's like not Vernon Adams. Who was the guy they had after Vernon Adams at Eastern?
Oh.
Eric Berrier.
Yeah.
He reminds me of Eric Berrier. EB3.
Two glove Berrier. I think Idaho's a team that can win any game in the nation, to be honest with you. They could beat South Dakota State any day. But they could also lose to Portland State. They could.
I don't know about that. I don't think they have any bad losses. Since Eck took over, they don't have any bad losses. As far as I know. I don't know what they did last year necessarily. They were 7-4, so maybe they did have a bad loss or two in there, but I'm not sure that they're capable of losing to a bad team.
Okay. I think our fronts are better, and that's going to say a lot.
Their offensive line is banged up.
Yep.
If you watch that Grizz game, you said they blitzed a lot. They did, but the Grizz oftentimes only brought like one extra guy, or maybe even four. They were just getting to McCoy, especially in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure I have faith in our game plan / front four to do that. I don't know. It seems when the Cats go up against an opponent that you think the defensive line should dominate, they don't always. I don't know. I don't know what it is, man. I have a feeling that we're just not going to get to McCoy very well.
I think preseason, both of you and I scheduled this in as a loss.
I had this as a win.
Oh, see, I had this as a loss.
I only had us losing to South Dakota State, buddy. 10-1. Still on track.
Yeah,
still on track.
I mean, I'm gonna bet on the Cats on this. I mean, I just think Montana State's overall a better team. They could run into a buzzsaw. And you could name anything for the Cats that's going against the Cats. It's on the road for the second straight week in a row against a top 10 team. That's tough. I mean, who else is doing that? Who else is on the road? 2 top 10 teams going for it.
South Dakota State's pretty close, I think, but yeah.
Yeah. Montana State is overall a better program. And I think Idaho has too many injuries along their fronts to eventually win this game.
I don't know. We got some key injuries on defense, too. I think this game could be relatively high scoring.
I hope not.
Or it'll be I hope 17 to 14
us.
Or something weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope it's not a high scoring game, but I don't know. They got some firepower and they're going to be ready. They're going to be prepared.
Yeah. And they're going to be desperate too. So let's say Montana State gets an edge in this game. They're going to throw some sort of trick play at us. And they're going to go for fourth down in a weird position. They're going to try to get the Kippy Dome just rocking. So it's going to be, yeah.
I would almost bet money on a pass from somebody else that's not named McCoy. It's a wide receiver pass or a halfback pass. I'd almost bet money on it.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. I'm pretty curious to see how we guarded Hayden Haddon. He's a guy, he's kind of like a Lance McCutcheon type guy where he's a big guy, he just goes up and gets it. They throw the ball deep and he goes up and gets it. The Cats have some pretty decent sized cornerbacks. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that kind of transpires.
Cats number 1 against pass defense in the conference. You know who's last? Number 12?
The Grizz?
The Grizz. Montana.
I was like, it's not Idaho, I bet. So
no. Idaho's like sitting like number 3 and everything. Yeah. Idaho's like sitting number 3 and everything. Yeah. They're like a little waffle in there. Yeah, they're very solid for sure across the board.
I think the Cats can run the ball in this game. And it might take some time to get it going. So it could be a situation where the Cats fall down 10, 14 points in the first quarter, first half. But as long as it keeps churning and we're wearing them down, it will bust open. But if we're getting stuff consistently and we're not even having very many possessions, we're not leaning on them to grind them down, that's where I'll get concerned.
The Cats have rushed for over 300 yards 5 games in a row, Thorny.
That's insane.
Montana State's offensive line is the best unit in the FCS. Not just in the Big Sky, in the FCS, Ryan.
I don't know. I love to be a cheerleader for the Cats, but South Dakota State's offensive line is pretty damn good.
Yeah, are they rushing for over 300 yards a game?
I have no idea. Probably not.
Okay.
I think they're scoring more points than we are. Well, maybe not.
Is the Missouri Valley as good as the Big Sky?
I think it's better.
I don't think so.
Different brand of football.
Okay. Hey, it's like, all right. Hey, I'm going to say this. The Foleys are going to be there, which is normally not a good sign. When I go to the games, we normally don't do well. So pray for me, pray for the Foleys and the Cats that nothing weird happens because of me coming. But I'd love to meet any and all of you. We're going to the alumni tailgate. So we got tickets for that as well.
I'm jealous, man. That sounds fun.
All right. Shall we get into the Golden Coolie questions?
I think so.
All right, man. Pull up the Bobcat Nation.
We need a guy for this. We need a producer. Just has these ready for us.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay, let's see here. So this came from Sunday, October 22nd. All right. DB, DeBrew, MSU. The 2-quarterback system came up today upon watching the Stingers down game for the third time. My girlfriend, in all capital letters, said 2 quarterbacks is great and it totally confuses the opposing team. Is she right? Also, she offered to make chili today. Totally unaware of the joke. And I said, no. How do you mix chilies if there's only one chili? Am I wrong?
First statement here. Your girlfriend understands 2 quarterback systems and the perils of doing so and can make chili. Keeper. That's a keeper.
That's a keeper.
Know some football, make some chili? Come on now.
Yeah. Right?
God, I don't know, man. It's interesting. I don't really know what to think about the 2 quarterback system after this game.
I didn't love it after this game. I really didn't. It was just clunky. It just felt clunky.
I think it's really hard to game plan for. There's certain levels of execution that I don't love, and you can it can backfire if you don't use it correctly. But I think it's extremely hard to game plan for. I mean, announcers say that. I do believe that's true. So I think yes, I think it does confuse the opposing team as he put it.
Yeah. BF Cat Fan says, so my Golden Coolie question is, do you think having a game televised on ESPN2 does any favors for recruiting? You mentioned today that the Grizz last year at Sac and this year at Sac, in my opinion, if they televised these games in Bozeman or Missoula, I'd say yes, but in Sac with a half-empty stands, hell no. But I'm guessing logistics and cost for travel, unpredictable weather this time of year plays into the decision-making. Sacramento is Southern schools get the nod. Your thoughts? So he or she is referring to what the comments are made on the Instant Reaction show. I think has to have a positive on recruiting. Montana State's the only game on. Late night ESPN. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, it's not showcasing our stadium, but it's getting the Montana State brand in front of people. You'd be still surprised how many high school players in Texas and other areas of the country have never even heard of Montana State.
Yeah,
it happens. But you're sitting there watching ESPN2, you see a game between 2 FCS programs, and one of them has a little number 2 by their name, number 2 program in the country, and they're winning football games, and you're watching that game and liking how they play football, even if it's in a small stadium with not much of an atmosphere. I mean, it's in your memory now. And all of a sudden, a Montana State recruiter reaches out to you like, "Oh yeah, I watched a game on ESPN2 a few weeks ago." I think it matters. I think it matters.
Yeah, no doubt.
It can't be negative. There's no way it's bad.
I was thinking today too that like the product that we're putting on the field is better than the Mac. Like, Mac gets on the television at Tuesdays and Thursdays. This game's better. You watch Julius Davis hurdle a guy, you're like, that's better.
Yeah. Dude, I was like, put my hands on my head when he did that. I'm like, no way. Like that was epic. Epic.
Colorado Cat says, do you think there's a solution to our kicking games besides a prayer? We just talked about prayers on this. Pray the Foleys don't jinx us. Yeah, I do. I think Kotzman is a dude. And here's why I'm on the Kotzman train. I just like the way he looks. Like his approach to the ball. When we got to see him in, I don't know what game it was. Maybe we've seen him a couple times. He just looks more smooth. Like, I don't know how to articulate it. He just looks better to me.
I don't know. I have no idea what the solution is. I haven't seen Kotzman kick. I have no comment on him. And you could see him kick in practice, and he could do the same thing where he's a practice superstar, comes out and shanks kicks all over the place. I think you just keep working with Hall and get him mentally right.
Yeah.
Figure out what's going on.
No, see, I don't agree. I think you give Hall the duties of punting and kickoff duties. Bring in the Butte kid. Let's do it.
I mean, there's no real harm in having him come in and try. Because I don't know. It's a hard one. I would not like to make that decision.
Yeah, give him game reps. All right. Vim says why the trick plays. I agree, man. Start off the game with a hand to Julius Davis outstretched zone and just give him 10 yards.
Nope.
Yeah.
Keep it up. Try the trick play again. Try it a third time. Third time's a charm. Keep it coming.
Yeah. Don't listen to Ryan. He doesn't know what we're talking about. Let's see. CNC Cat, who I still need to send your Golden Coolie to. I'm going to get it to you, buddy. I have it in my car. You have a magic wand that can heal exactly one of our injured players and guarantee that he's back for the rest of the season. Who are you bringing back for the Cats? Or to put it in another way, which injury do you think is most impactful for the rest of our season?
Danny, you. I'm healing that guy up.
He's coming back, though.
This is guaranteed back for the season. I want him playing in Idaho. I want him back right now. He's going to miss at least Idaho. He may or may not be back for the Grizz game. We didn't for both those games.
I think that's the worst one right now. Danny Yu or Caden Dollar.
Caden Dollar would be a big one too.
I'm going to go Danny Yu.
And guaranteed back for the rest of the season. I mean, even Lavelle Price would be a good choice too. I think Danny Yu's kind of... I really liked what he's played this year, and I think the team was a little bit deflated when he got hurt.
Yeah. Only having two linebackers, they need to be really good. Mm-hmm. And Danny Yu's really good.
I think we have three pretty darn good linebackers. Problem is...
but we played two linebackers, so that's what I'm seeing. Yeah. We have a 4-2-5, so we're going to play two linebackers. Yeah.
But now it's down to Cole Bullock or Eli Abbey, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's getting pretty thin. If Askelson or O'Reilly get hurt or even need a spell, get tired, come off the field for a couple plays.
Teton Cat says you can rush for 350 or pass for 350. Which one do you choose and why?
Easy peasy. Rush for 350. Brum, 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 brum. Road grader, baby. It's so much more soul sucking.
Is it though? But what if that 350 comes on 10 plays?
Okay, what if it goes on 10 plays passing? What's the difference?
I was thinking about this today at work, and I was trying to think of differences.
I think 350 usually beats up a team more. That's all. I understand what you're saying. Like, okay, 10 carries for... So you're saying 10 carries for 300 yards and then 20 more carries?
All I'm saying is, like, what if your 350 comes from, like, big chunk plays?
Okay, well, I think either way, I'm picking running the ball. I am 100% on board of running the Dan ball. #RTDB.
Yeah, you changed my mind. I'm with you.
It's just fun to watch.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch in a whole different way than passing is. Passing is like more eye candy. Football, running the football wins championships.
Yeah, when we ran over 400 yards on the Grizz last year, yeah, let's go.
So satisfying. So satisfying.
It is. It's so demoralizing for those other guys when they know it's coming and they can't stop it. That's what it is. I love that.
No, you can make a play here and there. If a team's passing all over you, you might be able to deflect a pass or get an interception or something. If a team's just pushing your defensive lineman 7 yards off the ball and flattening him, like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
All right. Let's see. When choosing between two chilies, this comes from Judith Basin Cat. When choosing between two chilies, if one recently wins an award, do you take that into consideration when deciding on which one you eat first?
What kind of award are we talking here?
Man, so Great Falls used to have a great chili cook-off. Or maybe it's not called a great chili cook-off. It was just called a chili cook-off.
Electric
and yes,
City chili cook-off.
Maybe, probably. It's probably that. Absolutely. There was a good steak and bacon chili, and it was delicious. And no, I was not mixing that chili with anything else, and I'm going first for that for sure.
I mean, probably. But if it's like a neighborhood chili cook-off where there's 3 chilies and there's an award, how important of an award is that? I don't know. But most likely, yeah. If it's advertised as award-winning chili and the other one's not, I mean, you got to try the award-winning chili. It's got a little blue ribbon on it like Pabst. It's a 100-year-old award. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It won that blue ribbon. World Fair. That's from the World Fair. That's when they won that blue ribbon.
Oh my gosh. You said like a couple of episodes ago that they don't put beans in their chili down in Texas. Is this true?
Yeah, not typically, no. They don't like, it's just meat. It's like a stew with just meat. Maybe some like tomatoes or green peppers and onions and stuff, but beans, no, frowned upon in most of Texas, parts of Texas.
We've never even talked about Cincinnati chili, Skyline chili.
Oh, we talked about this a lot.
Okay.
We asked Mike Person about it, remember? Because he was staying over in Ohio. Oh, I love Coney dogs. That's the chili I'm making.
Go. Cage Rage. At what point did we stop attempting field goals? Do you think we'll see more of the Butte kid in light of the new redshirt rules? Ew. I mean,
I'm not sure the redshirt has anything to do if we'll see Kotzman or not.
Here's the deal, Cage Rage. We don't stop attempting field goals. We need to fix it. And the only way you get through the yips is you get some good plays. If we're staying with Hall, he needs a success. He needs to hit one.
He needs a win.
Yeah, he needs a win. So, unfortunately, if we're staying with Hall, that's what it's going to take. He's going to need to hit one. And then be like, finally, broke the streak. Let's go. And I still think his levers are just too long and he pushes it. It is what it is. He's not compact enough to get his leg through the swinging motion. And I think he's blocking everything to the right.
I mean, maybe, but that's just a weird take. It's not like he has clubs that are too big for him. That's his body. Everyone knows how long your own legs are.
Do you hear any other takes out there? No. So here you go. There's a take for you. You're welcome.
It's like, this guy doesn't know how long his legs are.
He doesn't. Or maybe he doesn't have enough fast twitch muscle in him to get it through. I just don't think, I think that's what's happening, man.
Well, he's cranking him in the practice, so he knows how to move his foot around. It's mental. It's mental.
Doesn't know how to use his own legs.
It happens. An email from Brant Cartwright. When a quarterback is in without a backfield formation, is that a dead giveaway that he is either running or passing? Is that a formation we really need to be using, especially given our running back committee? Seems we're limiting ourselves and helping the opposing team's defense. So I think he's kind of talking about when Chambers comes in there and there's not a running back next to Chambers. Pretty obvious Chambers is going to run the ball. You would think that would be kind of a problem, but it's not. You can't stop it. It doesn't matter if they know it's coming. It just doesn't matter.
Yeah, I guess that's the beauty about it, man. I get where you're coming from, Grant.
Yeah, I get it too.
It wasn't Gunsmoke on that. It was Bonanza as well.
Yeah. You were corrected.
Yeah. All right. Twitter?
Oh,
X? X gonna
I don't
give
think
it
there's
to
anything
you.
on Twitter because I didn't put anything out today asking for questions, unfortunately. So I think that does it.
Finally, man, this thing's gone long. $1.25.
Not terrible.
It's getting worse. Getting worse, man.
Yeah, we are kind of rambling more this season, maybe, or maybe we're just more jam-packed good content. I don't know. You tell us. You tell us if it's too much about nothing. There's a lot to talk about, man. Like, when the Cats are rolling, it's fun to talk. And we had a big game, and we have a big matchup coming up. So we had a lot to talk about in terms of like the two games. We always talk about two games: the previous one and then the upcoming one, and they're two big ones. They were and are two big ones.
We're lucky. Montana State's winning program. Because if we were, let's say, Northern Colorado, you and I would still be doing this podcast for a losing team. But our listens and viewership and all this stuff, it would not be as much.
It'd just be way less fun to talk about it, too.
Yeah. Be more cathartic. Probably more drinking.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. We got to pick something.
Oh, geez. I don't know. D-Brew for having a girlfriend who talks about the two quarterback system.
All right, let's do it. She's a keeper.
I'm impressed. Can't get my wife to watch a second of the Bobcat football, let alone understand the nuances of a two quarterback system.
Conversation about it with you, that'd be like, oh my gosh, you want to talk about the two quarterback system at Montana State?
Pulls out a notepad.
I'm in love. You just get like the heart emoji eyes going on. You're like, and you made chili? Oh my word. Mm-hmm. Oh my word. Did you start like shaking? You're like, what's going on?
Yes. I'm dreaming. All right. Anything else you want to talk about here? I think we're good.
Oh,
right?
No, yeah. I want to go to bed.
Reach out to us. We'll get you a Golden Coolie mailed out. Thanks, everyone, for listening to this rambling episode. And I promise we do love the Cats. If it sounded like we were down on the Cats after we beat Sac State, we're not. We're very high on the Cats. Appreciate everyone. Following us on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, our CatCast handle on all those bad boys. So, Foley, let's just get out of here, man. Go Cats.
Go Cats.
Go Cats.